Welcome everybody to Seaview Gymnasium on the campus of Edmonds Community College for NWAC first round regional playoffs. Scott Oshman, glad to be joined today by Justin Morrison. Justin, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Scott. How are you?
This is great. I'm doing fantastic. Ready for some big time playoff basketball here. It is the number 3 seed out of the East Division, the Yakima Valley Yaks, coming into the home crowd here of the Edmonds Tritons, the number 2 seed in the North Division. Edmonds 8-6 on the year, 19-8 overall. Again, the number 2 seed, Yakima Valley Yaks, 9-5 in conference, 15-13 overall. And again, the number 3 seed. They have won 4 in a row, have the Yakima Valley Yaks, and head coach Ray Funk and assistant London Wilson. It's their 11th season, and they know what they're doing here.
Yeah, they do. They got an excellent ball club, a team that I think is going to be an interesting contrast in style between the matchup tonight against the home team, the Edmonds Tritons.
And speaking of the Tritons, head coach Kyle Gray, and he's got all kinds of great assistants. They know what they're doing. I'll tell you that. Last year in the championship game, and last 2 out of 3 years they've been in the championship game, losing last year to Clark 78-59. Interesting note there, they're up by 2 at half, so we'll have to give Coach Gray some grief. What happened there, just seeing the starting lineups?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Gray not on the scene in Edmonds as long as Coach Funk has been in Yakima, but he certainly has built a reputable program that, as you said, Scott, is just built on success year after year, and a big game tonight to see if they can reach the tournament and not get knocked out here in the first round of the NWAC tournament.
Winner moves on, losers, their season is done. As you see the starting lineups for the Edmonds Tritons in the blue and the gray stripes there. That's Lauren Lacoste, number 50, the local product from Mountlake Terrace High School. Then you also have Jerry Smallwood, 23, Jazz Colson, number 10, and Zach Walton for the Edmonds Tritons. As we're getting ready to go, in the gray their uniforms, you see the Yakima Valley Yaks. You have number 1, Demetrius Trammell. He's been outstanding. Jensen, Tyler Clough, who was the NWAC Player of the Week this past week. Max Jones and Jeremy Gaudette in number 0. So both teams, like you said, Justin, they love to score. Edmonds come in averaging 90 points, and the Yaks like to light it up with an average of 84.
Yeah, 2 teams that score in different ways. Yakima, I would expect to see them this evening, shooting lights out from the outside. Edmonds likes to go down low.
And we're underway. The Yaks take control to start this one off. Get it over on the right side. Man-to-man. Lacoste goes right into Gaudette. Gaudette, nowhere to turn. Back out Jensen. Driving now, Jones. Gaudette finds a wide-open Jensen. Not even rim. Nothing but air. Edmonds now their first possession. You'll see them. Smallwood, 23, just had the ball. He's the old man, 26 years old. Played with Kyle Gray at North Seattle. There's the first shot for Edmonds. That's off the mark from Devin Price.
Maybe some early jitters for both teams. Good looks, I thought. The corner 3 for Yakima and then Price, but both well off the mark.
Colson drives hard. The rebound there by Price. And there's our first whistle of today's game.
Well, a nice drive, but great intensity by the entire Edmonds CC front line to get in there, crash the boards, and get that second chance opportunity.
See who the foul is going to be against as Devin Price steps up. Devin, 48% from the free throw line this season. Just our first foul on the Yakima Yaks. Our officials, Jerry Manise, Anthony Gregory, and Joel Murphy. He gets the second. He's finally on the board. Just the start of the first half here on the campus of Edmonds Community College. Glad you're with us on STSPN. The Yaks with the ball. Jones drives hard, finds Gaudette. Just hanging out under the cup and lays it in. Tritons on the other side. Nice seal. Price. Denied. Resets the shot clock, though. Lacoste. Devin Price just cannot buy a bucket, Justin.
I think he's put up every shot, I think, for the Tritons, but he's yet to get one go from the floor. Had that one free throw. I think Yakima got caught there. That was Trammell on the earlier miss. He was looking to spring out and kind of get things going the other way, but Yakima didn't have the ball.
They haven't had too many tries yet. Edmonds. Smallwood again on the near side. Back out to Colson. Jazz Colson with the ball. Goes down deep. Now this is Walton. And Walton is one of their stars. He draws the foul ahead to the line out of White Pass, out of Morton White Pass High School in Morton, Washington. Averages 13 a game.
Yeah, a little bit smaller school. Probably a little bit unheralded, but certainly coming here and doing a nice job in his first year with Edmonds.
They're going to call, as he hits that, they're going to call Cameron Jensen on the foul, I believe. His first, team second. Zach gets both of those, apparently getting some looks that we were told by the coaches at some four-year universities. Tritons up 3-2 early on. Tyler Clough, their 11. Back into Gaudette. Knocks it in.
Every possession, Scott, they've gone into Gaudette. The first series, he just kicked it out a couple of times, but right there, I love him taking it to the rack and trying to force his way inside.
Colson can't find the rim. Here come the Yakima Valley Yaks. Clough with the ball. Tyler Clough, a local product out of Yakima, West Valley High School. And there's a steal. Tips it wisely for the easy lay-in. Colson.
Yeah, Colson created that. I think in the end, Price might actually get credit for the steal because he came up with the ball, but it was all Colson's intensity reaching in, overplaying, and really causing havoc on Clough out here handling the ball.
Clough goes around the screen, try to get again. Gaudette, little too greedy that time. Second steal as many times down the court. Colson now to Lacoste. That's rejected from the backside for the Yaks, but Edmonds retains the ball. Lacoste's second try. And there's a foul, and they're going to call offensive.
Yeah, I think a little moving screen there, a little handoff exchange by Smallwood, and he got caught using the body on that one.
That last possession, sorry. So you saw Max Jones, 23 for the Yaks, get in there and ripping it away from Lacoste.
Oh, it was great weak side help. As we're going to get a little timeout here, I think maybe some blood on a player over there on the Yakima bench. That's Jensen getting looked at.
And they're going to charge that foul to Jerry Smallwood.
Yep.
Smallwood, their three-point specialist. We'll talk more about that. 16-43, just a little bit pause, and actually a very nicely filled out gym here, Justin.
Yeah, late arriving crowd, but they've definitely filled in the seats here at Seaview Gymnasium.
Edmonds with that second seed out of the North Division, third seed for Yakima. Did not make the tournament last year, but they have made it 8 out of 11 seasons under the direction of Ray Funk and London Wilson, and they won it all in 2008. 1 point deficit right now. Clough giving up some size, goes inside, and that's Marquise Clark. He is a big load. Quick feet, gets it to go. And Marquise Clark, somebody to watch.
Yeah, his body size, along with Gaudette. I don't know that Edmonds has anybody inside to match up with that.
And speak of the devil, how do you match up with Zach Walton? 4 now for Walton, and the other way the Yaks come in, they'll and one as Max Jones, another A.C. Davis High School Yakima product. That's going to be a call on Zach Walton for the foul, his first. 2 team fouls on both sides. 78% free throw shooter on the season, and you see why. Here come Edmonds. The Tritons. Out front with Colson. Colson, a sophomore. Got experience. Lacoste, the freshman. Endo, number 5 once again. Zach Walton, interesting even for a 6'6". He plays the guard. He plays it all, Justin.
Well, he's a big guard, and you can see that Yakima's having trouble dealing with him when he posts up. If I was Edmonds, I would keep going to the well and keep letting Walton post up underneath.
And Clough having some early troubles. Coughs it up, and Walton on the other side, too much off the glass. Rebound by Big Gaudette. All tied up at 9. 15:07 left in the first half. Long range, and there it is for Max Jones. Oh, they're going to say it's a 2-pointer, Justin.
Yeah, just a long 2. Max Jones, some good intensity here.
Lacoste the other way, a long one.
See him grab a board right there. He's got a block. He hasn't hesitated shooting the ball or taking it to the hole.
Trammell quickly makes him pay and introduces himself. Demetrius with a 3.
In prepping for this game tonight, Scott, all I was reading about was Trammell. That's the first time we'd called his name, but you can see why he puts up 20 a game.
There's no doubt. Inside, Lacoste took the blow and didn't get enough on the ball there. 14-9 lead here for Yakima. Clough outside trying to get into the big guy. Clark takes baseline, and that's just too easy.
Now they've got something there with Marquise Clark entering the game because of the injury to Jensen. Twice he's gotten it down low, and twice he's just absolutely had his way and gotten easy buckets in the key.
16-9. Yakima Valley-X trying to hold on here. Smallwood pops it back out. Now they go down low. Price, nifty move to the rim.
Sold the up fake. You love the shot fake. I know a lot of great basketball minds think it's a little bit of a lost art, but he got Clark up off his toes and went right by him.
The up and under, a classic. Here they go down low. Gaudette and Lacoste. That's a lot of meat, and this time Gaudette wins that contest. Gaudette, 6 early. There's a turnover. Trammell will fly. Oh, he misses it, but there's his good friend, Jones. He's going to get grief in the locker room for that.
Yes, he is, but that's why you always follow up the play, as Edmonds is going to have to use an early timeout here.
And Edmonds looked a little bit in control, but 2011, our first time out here, NWAC Regional Round 1 basketball. The Yaks up 20-11. Want to remind everybody, coming up next Thursday, this coming Thursday, Justin, I should say, is the NWAC Championship Tournament live as you're looking at the Everett Community College, the gymnasium right there. I think it's the Walt Price.
Great facility. Great facility. It's hosted a lot of high school regional games as well, state tournaments, so looking forward to next week.
Should be fantastic. STSPN, your home there. 24 live streams. We'll have 14 with play-by-play and color commentary all the way to Sunday to the championship, both men's and women's. All you need to do is go to STSPN. Back here to see who's going to move on from this side of the bracket here. Edmonds Triton at home here trying to get into rhythm. Walton down low. Boy, they're just collapsing on Walton and anybody down there. It'll be Yak's ball.
Yeah, they know Edmonds wants to go through their post players, whether it be Walton or whether it be Price, and they're just going to collapse. They're going to make it really difficult to shoot over arms, and then Yakima's got to crash the board because we saw right there Edmonds is going to get after the offensive glass.
Down to Clark, spins, nice move. Good defense, makeup defense by Lacoste, gets the rebound. Here come the Tritons. Williams, Walton. Walton there for his own, want a stat stuffer, rebound in the make.
Yeah, you can see that's his game. Just go right to the hoop. Even if you miss, you're there. Opportunity to get a offensive rebound.
Second 3 attempt there by Jones. That one too much, and they're going to call foul on Jazz Colson as he had a little extra something.
Yeah, for as many good things as Max Jones has done to start this game, I don't think the 27-footer 5 seconds into the shot clock is really the offense that Coach Ray Funk wants, especially when they've been so successful getting it into Clark, getting it into Gaudette. They can definitely get a better look at the hoop than that.
Colson's first foul. Trammell, good D, not sure if it got tipped. Here come the Tritons. Williams, and what a defensive display there by Jensen.
Yeah, Jensen coming back into the game after I think he was bleeding a little earlier. That was Giovanni Williams who was bringing it up the floor. I think he had options on his right and left to get rid of the ball, but he decided to go to the rim himself, and it ended up turning out to be the wrong decision.
Why not? Averaging 15, the freshman out of Franklin High School, 6'2" guard. He knows what championship basketball is all about. 19 on the shot clock. Walton on the far side, going deep to Williams. Williams with a nice move underneath in the reverse. First bucket for Giovanni Williams. Cuts the lead to 5 for the Tritons. Also out there is Morsa Jensen. That's inside for 2, but a good looking stroke. 22-15, 11 minutes left. Hard to the glass, looking for a foul, not getting one is Jensen. And there's a timeout on the court. Edmonds, though, gets it 22-17. We'll step away, come back for round 1 of regional basketball on STSPN.
That was 1910.
Back here, welcome in NWAC Regional Tournament. Scott Oshman, Justin Morrison with you here, STSPN. Seaview Gymnasium here on the campus of Edmonds Community College. Cameron Jensen, the 6'3" sophomore, bringing it down. Tried to get too cute with it, and it'll be a turnover.
You can't have two guys that close together underneath. It's too tough to connect on the passes. There, he tried to slip it in and be cute and get it to Clark, but big man couldn't handle it, went out of bounds. Edmonds got to do a better job, I think. Yakima's proven they can get some points down low against them. They've got some big bodies down there. They've got to do a better job pressuring the guards. We've saw Clausen play some good perimeter defense. They've got to make it tougher to get the ball inside to those big bodies.
Out new in the ball game for Edmonds. That's his first shot, and he's going to get fouled on a 3 attempt as the Triton crew comes and gets him. That's Dylan Carter. Averages 10.7 a game. He's 46% from outside the arc, Justin, so they have quite a few sharp shooters on either side.
Yeah, he's probably Edmonds' best three-point shooter, and with the success that Edmonds has had inside, I think it's a good idea by Kyle Gray to get a shooter in there, because Yakima is going to have to devote a little more attention to trying to stop Walton inside as he knocks down his first free throw.
Carter from Copper Hills High School, as he gets the second from West Jordan, Utah. 78% from the stripe coming into tonight's ball game. 22-19, this they can crawl back. Makes it the hard way, Justin, but he gets all 3.
Yeah, he does. It's a nice little run Edmonds is on right now. They were down 19-10, so it's a 10-3 run since that timeout by Coach Gray for Edmonds.
Being guarded there is Morsa for Edmonds in the blue on Clough. Here's Jones, done a lot of the work so far. Pretty move. Switches to his right hand, seals it off. He's been a hard-working Yaks player so far. 9 for him. Tritons comes in low. And that's going to go to the Yakima Valley Yaks. Dylan Carter there got caught underneath.
Yeah, he was open in the corner for a long time, but Edmonds took too long to get it to him. Tried to use the up fake, tried to drive in, but I don't think going in with the big bodies is where he's going to get a lot of his points. He's definitely, like you said, an outside shooter.
Check that. That's not Morrison, number 3 there for Edmonds. Trying to find, oh, that is Moore, Corey Moore. He wears 2 or 3 as there's some business underneath the glass. Speak of the devil. Speaking of Corey Moore.
Yeah, that is great defense by Corey Moore. But I think the feet, honestly, I think just got tangled a little bit as Tyler Clough, he's had a rough first half here for Yakima. And right there, I don't think he did anything that wrong, just got his feet tangled, but because there was such tight D, referees saw the foul.
Second foul on Clough, gotta watch him. Deep, Walton gets it, leaves it up hanging, watch it. First 3 tonight for Zach Walton. Jones from downtown.
Wow. I said earlier it was an ill-advised shot to take it from that far outside, but went back to it and made it work the second time.
Moore with a dicey drive. Here comes Clough. This time he gets the roll. First 2 for Clough. All of a sudden, 29-23, high octane. Another turnover by the Tritons. Here comes Clough. Jones. Deep again from the corner. This time bounces out. No one knows where it is. I don't think it touched anybody. It's going to be Triton basketball.
Now you had a little bit of face guarding over there as the Tritons are trying to keep Demetrius Trammell tied up by basically devoting one guy to him and not paying any attention to anything else. Great defense there.
Look at into the ball game is Barry. Darnell Barry picks the pocket and makes him pay.
Corey Moore looked over to the bench for 1 second to get instructions, and he lost the ball.
Another turnover for Barry. This time, Jones. That could have caused some havoc here in the gym. Williams the other way. A lot of dribbles. Back up is Najado just in the game. A rebounding clinic here, yep. Justin.
Yeah, Edmonds is not shooting a very high percentage, but they're putting 3 guys on the offensive glass just about every time. Right there, they're going to get called for an over the back or a push underneath. It was Williams who's going to get whistled for the foul. Edmonds got to settle down a little bit right now because Yakima's got them just a little bit off their game after creeping to within 2. Yakima's dialed up the defensive intensity.
Darnell Barry in the ball game gets it back to Jones. Jones. Barry will come across. 14 on the shot clock. Barry, nowhere to go. Clark with a sweet jumper from the elbow. And you can't look down very long, Justin.
Yeah, it was a very nice drive and dish by Barry. A great jumper by Clark, but then, like I said, Edmonds is just a little bit rattled, not playing with much poise right now, trying to push the ball up the court, and just a careless turnover.
Timeout on the court. Will step away just for a second. It's starting to heat up. 7-17 in the first. NWAC basketball on STSPN. Back here, Scott Oshman Justin Morrison and the Tritons for the home team here is getting shook up a little bit, down 10. And it hasn't been the damage too much for the Yakima Valley Yaks of Demetrius Trammell. He's only got a 3. There's another long range.
Yeah, he came into the game averaging 20. We've seen one three-pointer from him, but it's been his other backcourt mate.
As Colson, drives in and nice little floater over the rim.
It's been the man with the ball right now, Max Jones, averaging 18, who's done a little bit of everything. Maybe trying to do a little too much right there, but he's really gone inside, gone outside. He's been leading the way for Yakima here in the first half.
6:38 left in this first half. This lower side of the regional bracket. Colson up top, tips it out to Walton. Edmonds leading the way for Walton. 13 points so far. That's another miss. And here comes Trammell. Deep 3. Lacoste with the rebound.
Now Trammell just had that look in his eye that I haven't taken many shots yet today. I'm going to force this one up. It was a real contested 3.
There's a deep 3, just rims out by Carter. Boy, a lot of second, third opportunities, offensive boards, the glass.
Yeah, Edmonds comes into this game for the season. They're the best offensive rebounding team in the entire NWAC, and you can see why. It's not for a lack of effort. They are devoting tons of guys to getting on that offensive glass, and they're finding those loose balls consistently tonight.
Dylan Carter doesn't get the first. Rare miss for him. Sophomore guard. Knows what it takes to get down the championship. And we haven't even talked for Edmonds. Lacoste, he's one of their leading scorers, 15.6 a game, and they've really kind of mitigated his point production.
Yeah, he's the biggest guy on the floor for Edmonds, and haven't really seen him post up or get the ball low. He's always got it at the free throw line extended.
4 for Carter, all coming at the free throw line. Underneath, what a nifty miracle move as he smiles down the other way. Darnell Berry.
He's injected a lot of life into this Yakima team. Defensively, we saw him make that backcourt steal on Moore, and he's done a lot.
Colson. That's a hard foul, and Marquise Clark, you run into him.
Right, when you go at him, he takes a big swing at you, trying to block the shot. You're going to land on your back most times.
And you're seeing for the Yakima Yaks, DeAndre Kambala in, number 33. First foul there on Clark. Gets a shooter's touch for Colson. Only the first foul. The Yaks 16 fouls, Edmonds 4. He hits both of those. Barry, the igniter. He's got a taller Edmonds player. Here is DeAndre. Is that a 2?
Yeah, just inside the line. It's that penetration by Barry. He's breaking down the defense. They're forcing to collapse on him, and he's finding the open guy for a jump shot.
Colson doesn't like it, tries to take him. There is Lacoste. That's why he shoots such a high percentage. His first bucket of the game with 5:04 left in the first half. Jones spinning. And they're going to catch Barry for a walk. Oh, and then they're going to tee him up?
I guess so. For taking the shot afterwards? Or maybe it was something he said that we couldn't hear up here.
Whatever. What do they call there? There's no foul.
I think it was a delay of game. Maybe a delay of game warning there on Perry.
I think you're right. Anthony Gregory, the official, whatever he said, he didn't like it.
Right.
Edmonds now down 7 here. Trying to get into a flow. Lacoste takes Marquise right to the rim.
Boy, you look at Lacoste. You would not expect that type of quickness out of him to go right by Clark and get to the rim.
Clark wants to take it back, and he does right up against Lacoste. And Marquise Clark with 8.
There's 2 ways to get to the rim. You go by your man, or you put your shoulder right into his chest and go right through him. Clark went for the latter there that time.
Walton working on. And Lacoste, there you see the rebounds, and the big fella Lauren is fired up.
And now we do have technicals. I think double technicals on Lacoste and Marquise Clark. They had words for each other right after that bucket went in. The foul was called.
Those are big, two boys knocking heads. As the officials here trying to communicate what's going on. A lot at stake.
Sure. Season ends for one of these teams tonight, and you can definitely, you know, this has been building. It's been a little bit of a snowball since the midway point of the half. I think the insertion of Barry for Yakima really ratcheted up the intensity, and it's been contagious, and it's spread throughout both teams, really.
Clark is going to get tagged for a foul, also Lacoste, but Lacoste is at the line as Clark takes a seat.
So you got to take advantage. You got to be able to play with intensity but with poise, and you can't commit stupid fouls, say things after the whistle to the officials. I mean, that's those are things that can change the outcome of a tight game like this. 5-point game right now. Edmonds trying to get back into this thing before halftime.
Lacoste, 71%er. He gets the three-point play. Lacoste, some recent energy. Here comes Barry. No look! And it's rejected. As Devontae Luckett, number 2, who's been in the ball game here for a few minutes, is smiling, nodding, saying it's okay.
That was a great pass. A lot of showmanship from Barry, but you can't argue that was a great pass. And Luckett couldn't finish, but he will get a couple of opportunities at the line here.
First foul on Devin Price. And Luckett gets that, the 6'2 freshman. Another one from AC Davis High School in Yakima.
Yeah, a couple of these guys were playing the state tournament at the Tacoma Dome last year.
Yeah, that's going on.
This time. Now here fighting for a chance to get to Everett CC next weekend.
Walton and one! So Luckett happy about the 2 shots down on the other side, the 2 free throw attempts. Just now he's going to send Walton to the line.
But one thing's been consistent with Walton this entire game tonight, Scott, and that is when he gets the ball, he doesn't care what's in his way, how far he is from the hoop, he's going to the rim. And, you know, if you get in his way and play good defense, he's thrown up some bad shots. But for the most part, he's been successful. And right there, Luckett was just uncommitted. Did he want to try and take a charge? Did he want to try and block the ball? He did neither, and he drew the foul.
And if he's going to miss at the rim, high probability he's going to get his own rebounds. He misses that.
Absolutely.
As Jerry Smallwood in the game for the Tritons. Here comes Jones. He's done a lot of points. Back to Gaudette. Has been quiet lately, but no more.
Yeah, it is a nice find right there by Jones and Gaudette.
Gaudette with 8 points. Back the other way quickly is Colson. And Jazz, now it's going to be a negotiation, and they're going to be...
Well, here's what's interesting is Yakima did knock the ball out of bounds, but Colson was underneath. And they've changed the call. He was underneath, kind of on a knee underneath the hoop, and the ball didn't hit the floor before it hit him, I think on his knee or his backside.
You can feel the intensity just ratcheting up as Edmonds clawing their way in this game. They were tied 9-9 early on, and from there it's been the Yakima Valley Yaks in control. Barry tries again, the no look to Gaudette, and Gaudette says, my bad.
Yeah, Gaudette was well positioned. The pass had some heat to it.
Yeah.
You're asking a lot of your big man if you're going to put the ball on him from that close range that fast.
And look, there you go, Walton. Takes Trammell right down, and now Anthony Gregory's going to go and talk to Jerry Manise.
I thought I saw a signal for another technical foul, Scott. I didn't see a call of who the ball went off of or if there was a foul, but I did see a tee. Let's see what. He's got a technical on Trammell.
Head coach Ray Funk over there, Yakima. Valley Yaks trying to get a clarification. And the fans don't like it, Justin. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in this first half, and boy, yeah, an anchor just dropped.
Yeah. And the crowd, like you said, it is a well-packed, I mean, not a lot of space here in the Seaview Gymnasium, but the crowd is filled in, and they're getting into this one. And that's a credit, I think, to both teams. I mean, it's palpable, the energy that's out there on the court right now.
Jazz Colson hits both of those. Very proficient from the line, 75%. He goes to the line almost as much as Zach Walton. 121 times this season as Edmonds trying to cut into this lead. 4 points. Over the head. Inbounds underneath. Smallwood. Back over Price in the ball game for Edmonds in the blue. Good cutoff there by Jones. That's just textbook fronting your man down in the paint.
Yeah, very good post defense and not a good post entry on the part of Colson for the Tritons. It led to the turnover. And Edmonds seems to be right. You know, they're getting within 4 points tonight, but ever since the beginning of this game, they've struggled to get back and actually get even with Yakima.
DeAndre Kambala, they charged the foul there to Walton, his second. And now the Tritons in the bonus and the Yakima Valley Yaks in the double bonus. 2:57 left in this first half. Kambala hits both of those. 4 for DeAndre.
Oh, Walton on the bench. Where is Edmonds going to go for their offense right now? Because he's instant offense when he's in the game. Let's see what the Tritons do.
Colson goes and runs into a building, which is Gaudette. Back out Smallwood. And there is Jones. Scrappy save there to Gaudette. Jones winning the Hustle Award so far this half for the Yakima Yaks, no doubt.
He has done a little bit of everything. 12 points, plenty of rebounds, inside, outside.
Barry tries to draw the foul, won't get it, goes up DeAndre, but Gaudette with the left.
Gaudette saying, you know what, you guys aren't the only ones that can grab an offensive rebound. He's willing to get his body in there, get the hands up, don't bring it down, put it right back in. That's great work by the big man.
The Tritons had it cut to 4, now it's 8. Good move there by Dylan Carter, but once he ran into Gaudette, it's just all bets are off.
Well, you know what? When you're a man that size, you're probably not going to get up, and you're not going to be able to block Carter. So just make yourself big. Say, go around me if you can. And Edmonds hasn't been able to the last couple times down the court.
2 on the shot clock. Smallwood front end. But there is Carter inside to Price. Oh, Price had a one at the doorstep. 47-39, Yakima. Here is the man of the half, Max Jones, another one. 14 for him in the first half alone. And he's a 44% three-point shooter, Justin, so he's doing it from everywhere.
Yeah, just showed the mid-range game there, able to take his man off the dribble.
Nice give and go, but they can't deliver.
Yakima is closing out this half very strong, putting some distance between themselves and the Tritons.
Jones, under a minute to go. And Jones will draw the foul.
Those are the guys, Scott, that are a nightmare matchup. You've seen a guy that's willing to pull up and shoot from 27 feet. He can take you off the dribble, hit a little step-back shot. He's gone to the rim, too. He's done a little bit of everything. And as a defender, you normally try and cheat a little bit. So, say, okay, take it to the hole. Maybe you're not going to be as good finishing as somebody else, but he's done it really. He's literally done it all here in the first half.
So they're 2-5. They have 20. They have Hess, who's just new in the ball game as Jones hits that. They have Hess and also Smallwood there for the foul. We'll get all the official stats for you at halftime. Max Jones, he has been excellent. 51-39. Colson trying to get something going up top. Hess drives in. It looks like this particular lineup hasn't spent a tremendous amount of time together. You can see they're just a little off as the turnover.
Yeah, right now, no Walton, no Lacoste. So Edmonds is trying to go some different routes, and that's about the third or fourth time we've seen both teams just too much on the pass inside. You gotta give your big men an opportunity to turn and get their hands up when you deliver a pass to them down there.
Barry just loses the handle. There's a couple second differential from game to shot clock, but that's to no avail now as the Tritons get another chance to close out this half on something positive.
Yeah, and they need to, Scott. It has been all Yakima in the final 2.5 minutes of this first half.
Jazz Colson, sophomore, he's going to take it all the way. Cannot get it, but he draws the whistle.
Yeah, I think just a little hand in his back as he tried to go strong to the rim. He did a good job getting it up there to the rim because Gaudet had come over to help. There were some guys for weak side rebound opportunities if it didn't go, but he got the foul anyways.
Kambala's charged with the foul. It's his first. Colson hits it. If he can hit this, get it to 10 going into halftime, that's manageable if you're a Tritons fan.
Still 4 seconds on the clock too, so you see a couple of substitutions here for Edmonds. Coach Gray trying to make sure he has his best defenders in there for these final 4 seconds.
And he does cut it to 10.
It is lots of time. Lots of time to push the ball up the court and even get a pass off, potentially.
Corey Moore in the ball game for the Tritons as well, number 3. Barry, length of the court, 1 second. Got it! DeAndre Kambala, just as the Tritons felt good about themselves, here comes Kambala. It's a great shot at the buzzer there, 53-41.
Well, Darnell Barry got inserted as a substitute about 5 minutes into this game. He changed the complexion of the game, changed the intensity level of this game, and right there he closed out that half doing just what I said. 4 seconds is an eternity when you move as quickly as Barry does. Got a great screen by Gaudet, pushed it up the court, found a man in the corner, and Yakima extends the lead right before half.
And head coach Kyle Gray and the great assistants, they got some strategery and some adjustments to talk about. We will take a break. We'll be back with halftime statistics and more. It's regional playoffs, the first round, NWAC basketball on STSPN. Don't go away. back, halftime here, Seaview Gymnasium on the campus of Edmonds Community College, just a few minutes north of downtown Seattle. Scott Oshman, Justin Morrison with you, and right now the Yaks putting on quite a show here at the Tritons home court, 53-41. Let's talk a little bit about some statistical data there, Mr. Morrison.
Well, yeah, Yakima with the 12-point lead, and they've been led by the 16 points of Max Jones, doing it pretty efficiently too. As we said, inside, outside, he's 6 of 10 from the floor, just 1 of 4 from behind the three-point arc. But a team Yakima that is very efficient, has been throughout the year very efficient, shooting the three. They weren't necessarily that in the first half, Scott, just 2 of 9. But aside from that, they were outstanding. 22 of 35 from the floor, 63%. I mean, some of that is great shooting, but Edmonds, if they're going to get back into this game, has got to figure out a way defensively to make things more difficult on Yakima. Aside from Jones, Jeremy Gaudette, what a first half for the big man. The single zero on his back, shades of Olden Polynice, former Seattle Supersonic. He's 5 for 5 from the floor. Coming into tonight, Scott, we were marveling that his season high was 9 for the year. He's got 10 in the first half for Yakima. Meanwhile, for Edmonds, Zach Walton's kind of done everything for them. I think the one thing they can hang their hat on is Coach Gray sat him for the end of the second half, and that was a little bit when the Yaks went on their run. But he does only have 2 fouls. If he would have picked up a third foul in that first half, I think it would have made the game a lot more difficult for the Tritons to come back. He's got to continue to stay hot, and they've got to get more touches for Lauren Lacoste down low.
Zach Walton, he's had 25 twice this year against Peninsula and Everett. He leads the team with 24 blocks as well. And what are they playing for? Well, the winner moves on that bracket, either Clark or Tacoma. Tacoma out of the West Division, that 4th seed, and Clark the number 1 seed, and also the NWAC reigning champions. We're back at action here. Edmonds in the blue, and Lacoste, they go right to him, to Gaudette, and they'll get the offensive rebound. Way down, Colson. Got it. That's what they needed, Justin.
Yeah, they only had 1 3-point field goal made in that first half. So a big shot coming out of the gates for Colson.
Clough back in there. There's the man of the first half, and he gets another one. That's a 2-pointer by Max Jones. Picks up where he left off.
Very simple. Again, coming off a high screen by Gaudette. Pretty much unchallenged jumper from just inside the arc.
Colson, Jazz, can't get the roll. Price tips the rebound, and Smallwood gets it back. Now he wants to get his reward. He does, falling down 3. Jerry Smallwood, 37% from beyond the arc.
He fought hard for that offensive rebound, Scott. He wanted it more than Trammell right there on that loose ball. Now a great defensive near steal right there.
Clough, elbow. High rebound by Walton. Walton 1-on-5. Doesn't matter. Oh, Yakima Valley Yaks head coach Ray Funk, he's seen enough. Just the opening 2 minutes here at this regional playoff game, and there's a timeout on the floor. We'll step away just for 2 seconds here. NWAC basketball on STSPN. Back here, the opening couple minutes, Edmonds Community College, the Tritons and the Yakima Valley Yaks, Scott Oshman, Justin Morrison, and whatever Coach Kyle Gray said at halftime they were listening and they executed, Justin.
Yeah, exactly the response you would want to see from your team facing elimination on your home court, coming out of halftime when you're trailing by 12 points. Very, very strong indications of life here for Edmonds to start this second half.
Jensen gets it off to Jones. Jones! Clough, 8 on the shot clock, finds Gaudette. Back out to Jones for a 3. And Clough with some good hustle, but it's gonna go to the Tritons.
Yeah, and the crowd likes that defensive effort. They didn't allow Gaudette an easy look underneath, and then they came out and they did get a hand up to challenge that 3 by Jones.
Colson going in now. Lauren Lacoste takes a step, and it's good enough.
Well, the old 2-foot jump stop and the shot fake, the fundamentals. We talked about it earlier on full display right there by Lacoste.
Cut it to 4. They did that late in the first. The Yaks swelled it to 12 at half. Jones having trouble. Gaudette way out. 3 on the shot clock. Gaudette, turnaround, easy.
What soft touch by the big man.
12 for the bearded Jeremy Gaudette. Walton. Are they going to call the foul? They are.
Yeah, you heard the whistle. You kind of thought could have been a walk or maybe a foul. Heard the Yakima bench, the coaching staff asking for the travel, but Walton's going to get some free throw opportunities here after drawing the foul.
That's the 3rd on Cameron Jensen for the Yakima Yaks. He's standing back by the bench. Walton hits it. Zach doing what he does for this team. 16 for Zach Walton. Only a 65% free throw shooter on the season, but he's been better than that, and that's when it counts in clutch time.
But within 4 yet again, it's been a spot that Edmonds has gotten to. Let's see if they continue to pressure the ball just like this.
Lacoste! Colson the other way. Smallwood. Edmonds fans really wanted that one. Jensen has some trouble. Clark from the elbow. Rims out Lacoste. Gets it to Smallwood. Jerry played with Coach Gray at Seattle, North Seattle. Here's a 3-ball corner pocket. Zach Walton.
Telling his teammates, hop on board, climb aboard my shoulders. I'll get us back in this game.
Got it to 1. Jones. Clark fakes. Lacoste bounces out. Chance for Edmonds to take the lead. Colson. High rebound there by Cameron Jensen, the 6'3 sophomore.
And the Edmonds crowd was ready to explode if that would have gone in, and it nearly did.
Backdoor. And a nice backdoor Demetrius Trammell there to finish.
Saw the great body control by Trammell as he worked around and didn't draw the offensive foul.
Zach Walton says, I can do better, and he wants the foul and didn't get it. 22 for Walton.
Shaking his head after that one because Yakima hasn't found a single player that can stop him yet tonight.
Jensen, 3. Boom. 3 fouls, 3-pointer. Jensen stretches that lead again. They had it to 1. Now 62-58. 15 left. Price with a good hustle rebound. Gets it back out to Colson. Lacoste, top of the key. And he gets fouled by Clark.
Yeah, and that's just a foul you cannot commit. Lacoste has shown a willingness to pull the trigger from the outside, but he's not a three-point shooter. That's a shot you're willing to live with if you're Coach Ray Funk. And to commit the foul on the three-point shooter, pretty unforgivable.
1 for 1 today on the 3-point and one, and he hits that early in the first half. 70 plus from the line this year. Trying to get it within 2. Here he goes. Substitution, Price will sit down. And for Edmonds, Giovanni Williams, again, hasn't done much today, averages 15, only got 2 as Lacoste hits the 3. The old-fashioned way, Justin. Back within 1.
Yeah, you do not want to foul a three-point shooter, especially someone like Lacoste who's not a high-percentage three-point shooter. Edmonds back within 1.
Jones trying to stretch it, thinks better. Clark can't handle it. Here comes the Tritons. Lacoste and 1.
What hustle on the floor by the Tritons. It looked like Giovanni Williams had lost the ball because of some great defensive hustle by Jensen getting back for Yakima, but Lacoste, big man, running the floor, picks it up and took it right to the hole. Clough tried to get back and draw that charge, but he just was not in position, didn't have his feet set, and the Tritons have the lead somehow, Scott.
And it's been a long time. All of a sudden, Lauren can't hit that. The first lead since early going for the home Edmonds Tritons. They are the top seed, the number 2 seed. That's this new format for regionals. Clough. Clark thinks about it. Jones, 12 on the shot clock. Step back, nice D there, but Williams is gonna get whistled for that, and he's not happy, and now he's got to get calmed down by his teammates.
Yeah, I think a lot of credit actually to the official, Anthony Gregory there, who called the initial foul. Debate that if you want, but when a player is as demonstrative as Giovanni Williams was and voicing their frustration, I think good restraint actually by the official to not ring him up for a technical foul there. It would have been warranted. You couldn't have said anything if you're the Edmonds coaching staff if he would have been called right there.
Jones misses the first one, 78%er, and he hit 3 for 3 in the first half. Here you see that effort, maybe his legs a little bit, because he missed short on both of those. Colson cannot handle the rock. Oh, and Barry. And what hustle there by the Tritons. Smallwood, the veteran.
Yeah, didn't give up on that play. After Williams lost it, stayed right with it. Barry was just a little too nonchalant in the corner there, thinking that the Tritons might back up defensively, but they stayed with him.
And here is Barry. He was the spark plug in the first as Clough. Deep 3, boom. Jensen, second 3-ball this half. That one no good. Jensen with a rebound. Jensen playing with 3 fouls. Yak's now up by 2. 3-ball deep by Jones. Oh, good. Here comes Walton. Disrupted there by the Yaks, but Barry's going to get called for traveling.
Yeah, he had 2 open guys to pass to, but he didn't have a lane to get it to him. And instead of putting the ball down, he was just in too big a rush to try and get the ball up to him. He ended up walking with the basketball.
And that Triton lead did not last long.
No.
Cameron Jensen got him back up here by 2 with his 3. Colson, or Williams. Good D there. Lacoste can't get it, but still the ball's up for grabs. Marquise Clark. Coast to coast fakes. And he gets called for the charge.
Well, that's why coaches don't normally want their big man handling the ball on the fast break, because they're just not as experienced making those decisions. Should have given the ball up about 3 dribbles earlier than he did, tried to do way too much on his own, and ended up committing the turnover. A big break. Last 2 times, Scott, 2 big turnovers. Should have led to easy baskets for Yakima, but instead a couple of turnovers, and Edmonds still within 2.
Edmonds first half had 8 turnovers. The Yaks had 7 as Williams tries to take it up to the rim. Big moment here, though, with 12:55. That's Clark's 4th foul. Jensen not going to get that to go. So 4 fouls as Gaudette sits waiting to get in. Williams. Quick hands by Barry. Goes down. Luckett! Devontae Luckett just in. Gets the bucket and a nice dish.
Good hands defensively by Yakima, and then that time a much better outlet pass that led to the easy bucket there for Luckett.
Williams. And he got the whistle. Some might say a bailout.
Well, Giovanni Williams has, the last 3 times down the court, decided to go single-handedly try and take the ball to the rim. He has not been as successful as Zach Walton has been tonight at that. And you're right, that time, Scott, I think the referees did help him out by whistling the foul and sending him to the free throw line.
That's 3 on Devontae Luckett for the Yakima Valley Yaks. Williams, again, one of their higher scorers. He's 15 usual average. That one misses 64% for the season. 1 and 1 there, he doesn't get it. But he's only got 3 tonight so far. Barry the other side. Jensen. 14 on the shot clock. You can see the defensive intensity for the Tritons turned up here in the second. Luckett, swish.
Really bad communication by the 2 Triton guards there. That was just a case where Colson and Williams should have either switched, but they both stayed with the ball and left a wide open man for the jump shot.
Price now back over to Walton. 3-ball. And Kyle Gray on that will take a timeout with 11:17 left. They get it to 2 one more time. NWAC playoff basketball on STSPN. So I have him for 25. We saw that all the action here for the championship. Both these teams, Justin, trying to get to Everett Community College, the Walt Price Fitness Center for the championship. You can find all of that live webcast here on STSPN. Edmonds with a quick lead here in the last few minutes, 11-12. Great feed and finish.
Yeah, you know what? Barry had him picked out, had Jensen picked out right as he picked up the ball and crossed half court, and he took 2 dribbles to set up that passing lane. Gave it a little extra with the no look, Scott, which I always appreciate.
Yes.
It was an excellent pass, but he knew where he wanted to go. He just had to sell the defense that he was going somewhere else, but a terrific delivery and a great finish there by Jensen.
Jensen with his 4th foul, only had 2 points in the first half. He has come alive for the Yaks here with 8 in the second half and 2 huge 3-pointers to keep the lead on. 71-67, 10:50 left in the game. Williams, who's been trying to do it all. But Walton has been doing it all. 29 for Zach Walton.
Didn't force the first shot, used the ball screen set by Williams and got himself a better look and finished.
The Yaks have been resilient, though, in this ball game. They are tied 9-9 early. Yakima, there's Gaudette, the turnaround and the soft touch. Having a career night, Jeremy Gaudette. Williams having a tough one. Here comes Luckett, traveling before the shot.
That is about the fourth unforced turnover, if you will, Scott, where just bad choices by the Yaks off some real good opportunities, and they haven't been able to capitalize on them. This lead was 4, but it certainly could be extended back to double digits if they would have capitalized on some of those chances.
Had a 12-point lead at the halftime. Williams again, 1-on-3, nowhere to go. Williams struggling. Goes outside, Moore. Moore with a pretty high off the glass.
But when you're a little undersized, you got to find creative ways to get the ball to the rim, and right there, Moore, the early release, high off the glass, great finish.
Big shot there, just in and out for Demetrius Trammell. Here comes Moore. Finds a trailing Price, he can't get the bucket. Oh, Devin Price, the freshman out of Salt Lake City, gonna want that one back. Lead is still at 2. Barry fights off the defense there. Now no one takes him. Wide open is Gaudette. He's so wide open I couldn't even say it, Justin.
Well, he just keeps building on his career night. 16 points now. The big man underneath for Yakima.
Williams having a tough one in the offensive glass, which they are so good at. With 8:37 left to go in the second here. Lead is 4 once again.
Well, clearly, the stats that Williams has put up throughout this year says that he can create, he can score a lot, he can do a lot of things offensively. But tonight is just not his night right now, and he's got to realize that and quit forcing the ball to the rim, quit forcing bad decisions. Make the simple pass, calm things down, and allow guys like Walton, who are having a huge night and are clearly on, get them the ball. And
they're going to call a foul. Jones there kind of held the ball, Justin. Yep. I wasn't sure if they were going to call the foul or a held, double dribble. That last foul was on Dylan Carter for the Tritons, his first. That last one there, they're going to call on Williams. And Williams is having a rough one.
Yeah, he's going to get another one right after that. Just hands, you can't do that. Can't put your hands on the man with the ball. And really, there's no need for it that far from the hoop. The first one happening out at midcourt, that one in the corner where there was no threat.
4 now on Williams. Jones goes up high. Lacoste might have got a piece of it. Devontae Luckett trying the left side. Too much there, not enough, I should say. Lacoste with a big rebound. 8 minutes left to go in the second half. 4-point lead by the Yakima Valley Yaks. Didn't make even the playoffs last year.
Good D by Gaudette as he stood his ground. Lacoste had gone around him earlier a couple of times. Didn't find it so easy that time, and the big man got the hands on the ball too.
Lacoste wants it again. And they're going to say it stays Edmonds' ball. 5 on the shot clock.
Yeah, it's a good call. And they're going to reset the shot clock. I thought that was the case. I thought one of those shots got up and got on the rim by Lacoste before the ball was blocked out of bounds on Price's putback.
Smallwood in there. Lacoste back out. Devin Price. Smallwood for 3. This one looks a little off, but had a Triton there, goes back up. Williams with a brilliant rebound and putback.
He might have got 2 rebounds and 2 points without his feet on the ground right there.
He did.
Great anticipation as he read that shot off all the way.
Clough for the Yaks. Jones, nothing. Clough there for the bailout rebound. 10 on the shot clock. Clough, great D there, no one there. Boxing out was Williams, and he couldn't let Luckett to the ball.
Yeah, and Luckett went right through him. That was exactly the right call. And I think that's 7 fouls already on Yakima. It's going to send them right back to the free throw line.
And we were talking about Williams. He struggled from the field, but look at this hustle rebound. And he got higher than anybody else and puts it in for Giovanni Williams.
You know, rebound is all about positioning, but you also have to read the basketball, too, in the air. And that shot, that three-pointer by Smallwood was so far off that he was able to anticipate, grab that first rebound, knew he had missed, got back up there to tip in the second.
Williams hits it. And that was the 4th foul on Devontae Luckett for the Yakima Yaks, and foul trouble becoming an issue here. Gaudette, the rebound. 7 minutes left to go. Who is going to move on to the next round, the Elite 8? Devontae. Boy, that's just cold-blooded right in the face of Price. The other way, Lacoste can't get the alley-oop.
That was a good look, actually. The pass was there and on the money. Lacoste just left it a little bit short.
Clough, again, struggling a little bit tonight, but he was the player of the week in the NWAC last week. Yakima product finds a hole. Tritons come up with it. 77-74, 6:13 left. Going high for Williams. It's intercepted by Devontae Luckett the other way. Gaudette. And it doesn't go out of bounds, and Smallwood has it deep. And Williams goes high, and Clough just gets caught underneath.
Well, absolutely frenetic pace there the last 3 trips down the court. Careless turnovers on both ends. Gaudette would have loved to seen him just go up with that. I know he had some people chasing him down from behind, but big man's that close to the hoop. We want to see him just put it up there.
And that's 4 for Tyler Clough, who has fought foul trouble all night, and it sends Williams back to the line.
That might not be the worst news, though, for Yakima as they get Barry back into the game after a little bit of rest. He has been probably the biggest X factor tonight.
Williams can't find it, and his free throw shooting is not his greatest talent through the season. That one a big one. 3 points. Edmonds at 16-13 here in the second half took their first lead in a long time as Jones skied as Devontae, but he can't come up with it.
Yeah, he got fouled. He got his arm raked as he went up for that rebound. Has to be a little bit of frustration on Yakima's part. Max Jones, who had such a great first half, had 16 points in the first half. He's only got 2 here in the second, and you called it earlier, Scott. His legs just don't look like they're there right now. It's a lot more labored than it was in the first half.
No doubt. Trammell trying to pick up for that. Williams can't hold on in traffic, no call. 5:24 left. Yakima Yaks trying to get back, but there's Walton. But it will get right back to Yakima. Here comes Jones. Underneath, pretty. Devontae Luckett.
Well, Jones made the great decision there. Hadn't been as successful shooting the ball. He took the ball to the rim, drew a couple of defenders, and found Luckett underneath for that pass. Nearly came up with the steal there. but he's helped Yakima build this lead back up to 5 points with a little over 5 minutes left to go in this one.
Jerry Smallwood with the ball out of Shorewood High School. Then went to North Seattle, played for Kyle Gray, and they're going to call Williams for a travel, and Giovanni Williams. Things just not going his way.
Now he's got a big contingent of, I think, family and friends here that are rooting him on tonight and just trying to do too much. That's what it looks like to me. Just every time trying to make the special play or make the pass or shot that leads directly to a basket. Sometimes you just need to move the ball and do the simple things.
Jensen back in 5 with the ball. Had a huge early second half. Back out to Barry. Now a set offense, which is rare. And check that, that's Devontae Luckett for 3.
Well, while Jones has not lived up to his first half success, Luckett has. Luckett has picked up where Jones left off and helped build this lead back up now. Edmonds just cannot maintain a proximity to Yakima.
Deep 3. Rebound by Devontae. Devontae, local product, the freshman from Yakima. 13 for Devontae Luckett. Here comes Jones. The drive and the kick to Barry. Back out. 3 for Gaudette. Why not?
When you're having a career night, things like that are going to happen for you.
You got to understand, Jeremy Gaudette has only taken a 3 6 times through 26 games.
He's never had 19 points in a night, though, Scott.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it, and we're feeling it coming up this week, March 10th through the 13th. There's nowhere else to look. You can go to any website. You can go to nwacsports.org. You'll see all the links for STSPN's incredible coverage brought to you from the Walt Price Fitness Center there on the campus of Everett Community College. NWAC Championship all the way through Sunday men's and women's right here on STSPN.
Well, and you look at the way the second half has gone, and really maybe the whole game for Yakima, I think it goes to what you were saying, your conversation with the coach before the game, that this is a team playing with a lot of confidence. They come in on a 4-game winning streak, and I mean, to me, they just have that look of a team that believes in itself.
Edmonds winning the last 2 of the season, but before that, they had a little rough patch. They dropped a couple, 2 and 3 in their last 5, and that's not where you want coming into the playoffs. Small with the right side. Zach Walton been a little quiet recently. He was the spark. Great dish to Lacoste. He draws the foul. Walton Lacoste is the pair to go to here, the accounting firm of Walton and Lacoste.
That's right.
That's where I take my return to.
Yeah, it is that time. It's tax season, and you know what? It's the time of the game where those two you're going to want to go to them for all the buckets right now down the stretch of this game. Walton he's really done no wrong as Lacoste hits the first free throw. Walton has done so much for this team and at times has looked unstoppable. The only things that stopped him is him not having the basketball in his hands.
Lacoste quiet in the first part of the first half. There he hits that. Now 16 points for the freshman Lauren Lacoste.
Full court pressure.
Devontae. And there's a dive, and they're going to call possession.
Wow, they're going to give a timeout to Yakima.
Wow. Heady play there by Jensen. Timeout on the court. We'll step away for a second here. 85-76, 3:14 left. NWAC playoff basketball on STSPN. on the campus of Edmonds Community College. Scott Oshman joined along, Justin Morrison. And boy, Edmonds, they crawled back. They had a lead with 16 and change left. They got it to 2 a couple of times. And then, but you got to credit the Yakima Yaks. They have prevailed as Jensen again from the side. But there's Barry for the rebound.
Yeah, they drew up a great play there, I think, in the timeout to get Jensen a good look off a simple inbounds play. Didn't go, but they get a second opportunity to do the offensive rebound.
And there he drags the feet and the turnover. That's what the Triton fans want to see. Edmonds Triton, they're not used to it. 4 years for Coach Gray. He's gone to the tournament every single year, and 3 out of the 4 he was in the championship game. This is uncharted territory here for Edmonds Community College Triton fans.
Well, let's see how they respond, because time is becoming a factor here with under 3 to play.
Deep three, he got hammered by Barry, and Barry doesn't like it. But Dylan Carter is going to go to the stripe anyway.
Second time tonight that Yakima's fouled a three-point shooter. First time it was Lacoste. This time a much better three-point shooter in Dylan Carter. But the same rules still apply, Scott. You certainly want to challenge three-point shooters, but you cannot get into their space. You cannot touch their hands, their arms. Barry's going over to have a word with the official, but from our perspective up here, he didn't look like he had much to complain about.
Untimely miss there by Dylan Carter. 78% on the season, so uncharacteristic there by Carter. The 6'1 sophomore out of West Jordan, Utah. He hits that. All his points, he's got 5, have come from the charity stripe tonight. Price sits down, and Colson comes back in.
Now, I like this lineup for Edmonds. This is the lineup, or darn near the lineup they had coming out of the locker room, where they were able to reel in Yakima. A big free throw there for Carter. Let's see if they can do some of the same things here.
2:41 left to go in this game. Triton's running out of time, and they call the foul, and Joel Murphy rings up Walton. Third.
What's tough about that is that there clearly was contact, but Walton knew exactly where Jones wanted to go with the ball. He knew he wanted to take it with his right hand and try to go by him to the right. He did beat him to the spot. Was he set? Clearly in the minds of the officials he was not, but it did look like a good defensive play.
Jensen with the ball, playing with 4 fouls. 2:27 left. Barry, Colson guarding him, tries to get the back door with Jones. Jones slices! Big rebound by Walton. Out to Carter. 3 ball. Lacoste taps it in. And there's a call.
Inbounds violation. It's that pressure that Edmonds was applying. Jones got the ball in from Jensen, tried to go right back to the inbounder, which is a great way to break the press, but Jensen had not established himself in the court of play yet. I think that was the right call by the officials.
Anthony Gregory, Eagle Eye Gregory right there watching the line as Gaudet takes a well-deserved seat here with 2:05 left to go. Triton's now down 5. Yakima hanging on. Carter goes in, and he gets a note. Wasn't even defended at all by Devontae, but that's fine. Here comes Jones. And Colson will pick up the foul.
Well, the pressure is doing its job. It has created a turnover. It's going to send Jones to the free throw line here, but I don't think that's really a detriment to Edmonds right now, because they want to extend this game. They've cut it to 3 points. There's still 2 minutes left, and they're in a 1-on-1 situation here.
And Jones has just had nightmares from the line here in this second half. Colson, great defense by Jensen, but that'll be his 5th as Anthony Gregory blows the whistle, and Jensen is fired up.
A little bit of a late whistle, but I think the right call. Jensen clearly hated the call, but there was a lot of contact with the body as Colson was trying to go to the hoop. And again, I think what makes that doubly frustrating for Jensen and Yakima is that the whistle came a little late.
Chance here to get it, and he gets it. Within 2, here is the foul as Colson's at the line, but he misses that.
You can see the late whistle and the body contact there. That's it for Jensen.
Tyler Clough back in for the Yakima Valley Yaks, trying to move on. 132. Nursing a 2-point lead. Clough, 7 on the shot clock. Jones way outside. They collapse. He draws the foul. It's an air ball, but he's going to go to the line for 3.
Val Carter really gave no choice to the official there but to call that foul. And savvy play by Jones. He had no intention of shooting that first 3. His legs have not been there. He struggled from the floor, struggled from the line though too, but he will have at least three shots at the line.
And there he gets it finally. His first free throw in a while. Incredible performance here. 19 for Max Jones. 3rd on Carter. And he hits both of them. And he's got one more. Hitting them when it counts.
Yeah.
This is big here. Possession's vital. Got his legs under it. Great job by Max Jones.
Huge free throws.
5 now with 1:15 left. Yaks have in the double bonus. Triton's in the bonus. Colson gets the Yak up top there. Devontae Luckett was a parachute flyer there, and he gets it to go. Minute left.
Still plenty of separation between game and shot clock. They don't need to foul.
What a dish and a finish by Devontae Luckett.
They didn't need to foul, but they needed to play better D than that.
Leads 5 once again. Walton for 3. Too much, and Max Jones with the rebound. Now he's just going to have to survive.
Oh, and they're going to get a timeout.
Good sportsmanship there from Smallwood to Jones. And a timeout.
So 37 seconds left to go in this game. 5-point lead for Yakima. I think Coach Gray, the most important thing here, Scott, is to get a bucket of any kind. If you want to draw up a play in here and you want to make it for a 3-point shot, or you want to make it for a good look at a 2, I think either can be effective because you can still extend this game with fouls. The most important thing, though, is to get the bucket and get it quickly. There's no time to waste if you're Edmonds. An empty possession right now could be the difference in the ball game.
They've been here many times before. Kyle Gray in his 4th year here, all he has done is just won 2 of the 3 last years, 3 years. They have been in the championship game. Last year they were the number 1 seed out of the North Division. Kind of stumbled into the finish line here this year, but winning a couple their last. Beat Skagit Valley 95-84. They shot well, though, in that game. Again, 64% from the field. And, again, it's back to looking at Edmonds. If they look back, it's the lineups, and Walton was just on fire, unconscious.
Right. And now what can they draw up? What inbounds play has Coach Gray saved to try and execute here? Will they roll Carter off a screen or Smallwood off a screen for an open look at a 3? I love, in these situations, a little screen the screener to try and send Walton to the hoop for an easy bucket.
Trying to get somebody open. Finally, Walton kicks it back out for a 3. Colson, too much rim. Lacoste the rebound. 32 on the clock. Goes back up, and he gets it. 3, 1 possession game. They're trying to foul, but they get a possession arrow. Tied up, what is it?
No, they're giving him a timeout. One referee came in and overruled the other one. But to be fair, I don't think Anthony Gregory could see that Clough wanted the timeout called, or was trying to call the timeout. Joel Murphy who was standing right by the Edmonds bench, was the referee who saw it. Nobody in this building likes it, at least nobody wearing blue. But that's the call they're going to go with. We've seen the officials be pretty generous with that call tonight, Scott, consistently. When there's been potential tie-ups, they've given the team with the ball the timeout. They've given them the benefit of the doubt in almost all those situations. But even with the timeout, Scott, it doesn't mean the Yakima's out of the woods just yet. They're still nursing this 3-point lead. They still have to figure out a way to get the ball in, up the court, because Edmonds has shown they're not going to just come out and foul initially, which I think is the right strategy here. There's enough time that you can try for the steal. As soon as Yakima crosses half court, that's when I would go to the foul, because you got to extend the game if they get it across half court. But be aggressive, go for the steal, overplay here early, and try and get this ball back. You're only down one possession.
Oh, a great debate in basketball as we head into March Madness.
They're going to get Walton here for touching the ball before it come in play. That's a delay of game warning, I believe.
Interesting. But I was saying, it's like you talked about, the great debate in coaching as we're in our own March Madness. If you're down by 3, do you foul or do you take your chances, try to get a steal? And
I think in this situation, you spend about 5 or 10 seconds trying to get a steal, and they got one.
Smallwood, Lacoste! Within 21.8. Timeout called by Luckett.
Well, and that's why you cut the lead now down to 1. And there's still 21 seconds left. So the same rules apply. You go for the steal initially. You deny the inbounds. Do whatever you can to get that opportunity in the backcourt. If Yakima breaks it, gets it across half court, you can, in theory, foul with still 10 seconds left to go in this game. And no matter what Yakima does at the free throw line, it's going to be a one-possession game now because of that steal.
Unbelievable finish here. 1-point lead. The Yakima Valley Yaks, they've led most of the way, except a brief moment in the first part of the game. And then with 16-13 left to go, Edmonds was coming back. It was a Zach Walton show, and they took a lead. But it was only for a second as Cameron Jensen came and hit some big threes to stretch the Yakima Valley Yaks. And they've been hanging on by a thread ever since, and they will do that exact thing one more time.
Hey, you need somebody to go to the ball if you're Yakima. You need them to be strong with the ball. Do not get flustered with the defensive intensity, and be poised, make the correct pass.
Freshman Devontae Luckett inbounds the ball. He can move on a made basket, gets it into Clough. Oh, double dribble maybe. Now he gets the foul, but he gets in the front court, and 16.5 left. That looked like a very close double dribble from our vantage point.
It did. He had two hands right near the basketball. Tough to see whether or not he did touch it with both hands, but no call, and now some big free throws for Clough, who has struggled tonight.
Third on Jazz Colson with 16.5 left. Can he stretch it? Ice in the veins of Tyler Clough is only his third point tonight. This is huge.
Don't need a three here, but again, it's got to be quick.
92-89, 12 seconds. Colson, Smallwood. Not going to happen. And Jones scrapping for the ball, and he's fouled on the way down with 6 seconds left in the ball game.
Well, they went for a three. Smallwood got a decent look. It hung on the rim for a little while. There was plenty of people underneath to try and grab an offensive rebound, but these are a couple of free throws right now by Jones that could put this game away. And he'll get 2, double bonus right now.
You're right, a good look. Smallwood had it, but I got to give credit. Tyler Clough was right in his grill, deep in the corner, and now we got some words in the stands here as play continues, and Jones tries to put the nail in the coffin here and hits the free throw.
Well, that's a huge free throw. It would take a near miracle now for Edmonds. Down 4 points.
23 points, and we got to decide who's the player of the game. No pressure with 6 seconds left. Lacoste, deep three, front rim, Price or Carter. And that will do it. A stunner here at Seaview, and the fans are heated. And people are intense here as assistant coach for the Yakima Valley Yaks, London Wilson, comes over and tries to calm the crowd down.
Well, the intensity was on the court and it carried over into the stands too. But a player of the game, Scott, tonight, I mean, I think you have to look at a guy who had a career night. I think Gaudette, for what he did throughout the whole game, he may not have been the leading scorer. You could talk me into maybe Max Jones too. You could probably talk me into a lot of different players for Yakima, but Gaudette was terrific throughout the entire game. Had 10 points at halftime and added to it in the second half.
We'll step away. We'll go get Jeremy Gaudette and get a few words with him for a post-game, our player of the game. But the final 94-89, the third seed Yakima Valley Yaks come in and really upset the Edmonds Community College Tritons. We'll step away for just a second here. Come back, post-game show, NWAC Playoff Basketball, STSPN. Let's go back. Back here, we'll go down to Justin Morrison with our player of the game, Jeremy Gaudette. 19 points. As we're trying to find him. We got him. Go ahead, Justin.
Alongside our player of the game, Jeremy Gaudette for the Yakima Valley Community College Yaks. It was an intense game tonight. Congratulations on the win. Tell me about the game.
Well, we just decided that we wanted to get in and get out, and however that happens, if we play a really good game and beat them by 20, if we play a not so good game and get out of here by 5, we just decided, well, we got to survive and advance for the next game. And the biggest thing we wanted to do is stop their transition. They're a team that really likes to get up and down the court, and if we figured if we can stop their transition, that we would have a good chance of winning.
Yeah, there were times tonight it was a back and forth contest. They came back strong in the second half. But how about your guys' effort specifically? You're not known for scoring a whole lot of points throughout this season. Career high tonight. Was it something you guys thought you could capitalize, take advantage on of your size inside, or was it just the way the game flowed tonight?
It was just kind of the way the game flowed tonight. We don't have any, we were mostly trying to rely on our shooting. That's what we've relied on all years, our three-point shooting. I think we're one of the top teams in the NWAC as far as shooting. So it wasn't really going for us in the first half, so we decided to just try and get to the rim and finish. And so it kind of just opened everything up with the way that they were trying to deny DT the ball, Demetrius the ball. It just allowed those lanes to be wide open. So a lot of times the guards would penetrate and kick and create for me. So it was most of the guards just penetrating and just finishing around the rim.
You guys have won 5 games in a row now. You head to Everett Community College next weekend for the NWAC tournament. It feels like, in talking to your coach before the game, that this team has a belief in itself right now that you guys maybe struggled at times throughout the year, but you guys are in a really good place right now.
Yeah, towards the beginning of the season, we're having a hard time finding our identity as far as what we succeed, how we succeed as a team. So, yeah, we just decided to try and find our identity and ride off of that.
A little bit of a crazy night. A little bit of a crazy night, but congratulations on the win. Best of luck next week. Back to you, Scott.
Thank you, Justin. Jeremy Gaudette, our player of the game. There's some NWAC tournament regional play, the 16 finalists here. And on this side of the bracket, Columbia beats lower, see if it's lower Columbia. Columbia Basin, beats lower Columbia, the Red Devils, 63-53. They'll move on. And Whatcom, the Orcas, soundly take care of the Clackamas Cougars. And so those two meet up, Columbia against Whatcom. And the only other one, we don't know whether Yakima Valley winning tonight 94-89 if they were going to face the number 1 seed in the reigning champion, the Clark team, or Tacoma. That final's not in. But Justin, what a ball game. It was sluggish at times. It looked like the momentum had turned for Edmonds. They got over the hump, but you got to credit the Yakima Valley Yaks. I mean, just tenacious to hang on.
Yeah, I think sometimes you see that when a team is down in double digits the way that Edmonds was at halftime. It took a lot of energy and effort to whittle that lead down, like you said, to eventually take a 1-point lead. But all that energy expended early in the second half, maybe they didn't have enough down the stretch. Didn't go to Walton maybe enough, committed a few too many turnovers there in the latter stages of the second half. And yeah, Yakima found a way to hold on with some buckets at some very opportune times and some clutch free throw shooting down the stretch too.
They are an excellent free throw shooting. Again,
yes,
they do shoot well, as Gaudette mentioned there. And you got to give, so much credit. Cameron Jensen, he's got 3 fouls. He comes in. He hits huge three-pointers. He's scrapping down at the end of the game. A sophomore veteran player, and sometimes that's all it takes to get these clutch, calm moments.
Yeah, I think that's you're right. With Jensen playing the way he did, Luckett with his effort in the second half. Funny that Jones and Luckett, 2 guys from AC Davis, it was all Jones in the first half, and he seemed to hand it off to his man Luckett in the second half and said, okay, I've done all I can do tonight. And Luckett picked right up, had a very good second half, and what I thought was going to be a Yakima team led by kind of 2 guns, they really showed they had some depth tonight, and their role players were the difference tonight, I thought. And
whether it's Clark or Tacoma, get out the scouting tape. You got to deal with the high-flying Jeremy Gaudette, who drops 19.
I'm not sure high-flying is the 2 words I would use to describe him, but efficient, certainly efficient with the way he played tonight. And that's, you know what, I think a guy that was only averaging 5 points a game, that career high was 9 points. When you put up 18, when you get a three-pointer to drop, one of only 7 he's taken the whole year, it's confidence, and confidence is a big thing in tournaments. It's such a tough atmosphere to play in, knowing that every game could be your last. They looked like they handled the pressure really well tonight.
Well, the Palm Springs of Washington, Yakima, very proud. Again, Max Jones with a valiant effort tonight as well down the stretch, hitting huge free throws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His last 5 points were from the stripe, and they were iced it, and they were cool, calm, and collected as the final stats come in. Anything jump out at you before we wrap this one up from Edmonds Community College?
Well, I think in the end, Edmonds is going to look at the first half and say that's where they were undone. They shot the ball much better. They rebounded better. They played defensively. They held Yakima to a lower shooting percentage in the second half. But the 12-point deficit at halftime was just a little too much for them to overcome tonight.
What jumps out at me, like we talked about, Edmonds 31% from the field, 13 for 42 in the first half, like he talked about overall. They made up for it a little bit in the second, but they got to shoot better. They had so many tries underneath the bucket right at the cup, and they couldn't get it to go.
Yeah, I think that's in the end. I mean, they rebounded pretty well tonight. They out-rebounded Yakima. When you don't shoot that well, you're giving the other team a lot of chances to grab defensive rebounds. But Edmonds was tenacious on the glass, and they certainly fought valiantly tonight. But Yakima just had something for them every time they either cut the lead down or a couple instances where they took the lead.
Well, for the Yakima Valley Yaks, it's going to be a pleasant drive over the mountains back home, and they will be heading right back to Everett Community College, the Walt Price Fitness Center, for championship, the Final 8, as that will wrap it up for us. 94-89, Yakima Valley Yaks send the Edmond Tritons home for this season. Todd Elvig, executive producer, engineer, and 5-tool player. Josh Elvig on the camera. For Justin Morrison, it's been a pleasure, man.
Absolutely. Looking forward to next week.
A lot of fun. This is Scott Oshman saying so long. 94-89, Yakima Valley Yaks moving on. Good night.